Lashpreneurs, happy Monday to you. I recently received this question in the DMs on Instagram. Feel free to DM me there anytime with your questions. Might end up on a podcast episode. I was asked, how do you single-handedly run a business? There is no time to grab a sip of water, let alone get up and give each client the proper hello and see you later that I would desire. Or getting back to potential and current clients during the day. I feel like my entire focus goes into when I'm in the chair and there's no time for anything else. Not such a bad problem to have. I would think. It sounds like she's pretty busy, right? But I don't know. Maybe she just takes a really long time. Maybe she takes 3 hours for a fill, and so she can only get 2 fills in the day, and then she's exhausted and she's just like hands are cramping. I don't know. But there are some definite ways to pick apart what she's asking here and find some solutions. And that's what we're going to go over today. So it really has to do with your perspective on time and your management of time and your beliefs around time and your goals. Spoiler alert, that's what we're getting into. All right, so first things first, I'm going to jump into some mindset. Y'all know me. I like the mindset stuff. So we're going to start there. She says, how do you single-handedly run a business? What is her next statement? There is no time to grab a sip of water. Now, interesting. How many of you can relate? Right? But is there, in fact, no time? Is there literally no time for her to grab a sip of water? My question, I'm going to challenge that she actually can find the time to get a sip of water, because a sip of water is what? Maybe 3 seconds from start to finish. If you just take it a little tiny sip, you can do, your client has to sit up at some point or lay down during that time. She could actually take a sip of water. So I'm going to say that her belief around time is that she is actually a victim to where her time is spent, is the underlying belief just based on that statement alone, that there is no time, because there actually is time. What is not happening, what is not in her awareness, is that she is not believing that she is in control of her own time. So when you make these broad statements of there's no time, no, it's that your time is being focused and spent on other things that you are not in alignment with. If you are not giving yourself enough time in the day, and I'm very intentional about the word giving yourself, because only you are in charge of your time. If you're not giving yourself as the CEO, as the business owner, as the only person who is in control of your schedule, the time to even go rest, go stretch your hands, go take a pee, go have a sip of water, that's on you, boo. Your name is on the door. Ain't nobody coming in to save you. Ain't nobody going to come in and say, you need to take a vacation. You need to take a day off. Stop working at 6 hours max in a day because you're risking injury. That's on you. So this is likely someone who hasn't made the mental shift from employee, where she, clock in, you clock out, and you work as long as the boss tells you to work. You're the boss. So if you don't have the time to take a sip of water, you got a pretty crappy boss, and AKA you're not doing what's best for you to have a long career in this industry, because you're not prioritizing even the basic human functions of your body, like getting water, taking a sip of water, going to the bathroom. And then on top of that, running the rest of the aspects of the business. So what tends to happen, what I usually see happen when people are in this mindset that they're a victim of where their time is spent, and oh my God, there's just never enough time, is that they have prioritized other people's time over their own. It usually stems from those that have chronic people-pleasing tendencies, right? Well, a client only can come in at this time. Well, if a client can only come in at a time that's not convenient for you, or that's going to risk injury, or that you're not there, or it means you don't get a sip of water, guess what? We don't take that client, right? If we are prioritizing only clients who can come in after 5 p.m. because they work 9 to 5, but we want to be home with our children when they get home from school and be able to cook dinner and have nice family evening, yet we can only find clients that can come in the evening hours or on weekends, yet we have a real high value in spending quality time with our family when they're at home. We're mismatched. And so you're going to have evidence of their own clients only want evening or weekend appointments, but you're actually the cause of that. You are marketing to people who have 9 to 5 jobs. Therefore, yes, their availability is only evening and weekends, but there are plenty, an abundance of clients who can come during the day that actually prefer to come in during the day. I am one of those people. I never book appointments after 4 p.m., after actually 2:30 p.m. Why? Because I got to go pick up my kids. My son gets out of school at 3:30, then I got to go pick up my daughter, and then I'm not going to go do appointments. I don't want to go in the evening. I want to enjoy my time with the children. Bedtime starts usually around 6:30, and it's like 2 hours of me being solely focused on spending time with my kids and trying to get them to go to sleep. And then time after that is dedicated just for me to like calm down from work and kids all day. So I prefer my appointment times to be during the day, during the week when my kids are taken care of and I don't have to pay for childcare to then go have my lashes done or my hair done, right? So what you have here, when this is the situation that you only can find clients that are available at times that you don't want to be available, is a target market issue with your marketing. It's it's as simple as that. You are attracting the wrong types of clients into your business that don't align with the schedule that you want to have. You may also have your availability open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and people can book wherever, because we'll just take anybody who can come in, rather than I'm going to limit my operating hours to the hours I actually want to work. And if somebody can't find a time that works within those hours, then they're likely not the ideal client for me. And I don't need to shift my business model to accommodate them. They should go find somebody that works for their schedule, and I'll keep marketing to the people that that schedule does work with. So you are not actually a victim of your time. You're actually the source of where your time is spent. You likely aren't aware of where your time is best spent, which kind of is what I'm thinking is happening later on in her question, because she talks about, let alone she can't get up and give each client the proper hello and see you later that she would desire. Now, wait a second. Here. You are the boss. If you want to prioritize a stellar customer experience, or even just basic customer experience of like greeting a human being as they enter into your place of business and saying thank you and goodbye in the place of business, rather than just turn and burn, again, what are we prioritizing over creating the type of business that we're proud of? Because you are not a victim to your time. You are the creator and the controller of your time. So if you don't have time to get up and greet your client properly, well, then what are we prioritizing over that? Spoiler alert, for most of you, it's money, right? You have the belief that if I can get the most amount of clients in the day, I can maximize my income. In theory, because you're a time-based service, in theory, that may be correct. However, you're actually kind of missing the whole fun of being a business owner, in that you're in control of your time and you're also in control of the money you make. Ooh, isn't that interesting? So imagine you could take one full less appointment in a day. Let's say you could take one, like, let's say total, you take 8 clients in a day on average, right? And they're just back to back to back to back. And it's like 10 hours straight of you just lashing. You're just a lashing machine, right? After a certain time, your quality is going to decline. I don't care who you are, it happens, right? For me, it was the fourth client was my max client, where my quality was consistent throughout the day. Client 5, I was getting a little crabby. I was tired. Like I lost my zeal for what I was doing. By client 6, if I ever took one, I was ready to shank someone with some tweezers. So I knew if I went past 4 clients at any given day, my quality and the experience and the results I could get was going to start to decline. So I made a very clear effort never to take more than 4 clients in a day. This was usually for volume fills, about an hour and a half. It's about 6 hours of work. Like I didn't want to work more than 6 hours. I also didn't want to risk injury. Very early on in my career, I would say about 6 months into having my business open, I had a really bad shoulder injury from repetitive stress, where I couldn't take clients for 2 weeks and it scared the bejesus out of me, right? I was like, shoot, if I can't work, if I'm injured, I have no ability to earn a living. And that scared me. And I was like, from that point forward, I was no longer willing to risk my body. I started getting weekly massages. I would go chiropractor regularly, and I wouldn't take more than 4 clients a day or work more than 6 hours in a day. That was my boundary, that I had to figure out how to operate my business, make the money I wanted to make, grow the way I wanted to grow. But those were my boundaries so that I could physically continue to do the job. Okay, so some of y'all may need to have that come to Jesus moment. Let's not wait until we get injured for that to be the case. Let's be a little proactive in that. So let's think about it this way. If you take 8 clients in a day, and let's say, you're doing an hour fill and you're working 8 hours in a day. And let's say, and I'm going to try and do this quick math, but work along with me here, grab your calculator, grab, some notes, some pen and paper. Let's say, okay, you do an hour-long fill and you charge, for simple math, $50 for the average fill that takes you an hour, and you take 8 clients in a day. Well, let's do some math here. So at that price point, you take 8 clients a day at $50. You're doing about $400 in sales a day. Okay. So let's imagine that we actually want to work less so that we have a little bit more time in between clients to be able to do a proper greeting. Hello, how are you? How's the kids? How's the dog? Did your daughter make it to college? Okay, that whole pleasantries, right? Or a new client comes in and she fills out the consultation form and we sit and we talk about our policies and her expectations and her desired results. And we have time for that where we're not stressed and like, you're watching the clock the whole time. And then your client can get up, you can take a sip of water, you can go check her out, rebook her next appointment, sell her some retail, to catch up with her. We're going to wrap up the conversation you were having during the appointment. And then you can run to the bathroom and take a couple minutes there. You stretch a little bit, then you prep the room and you have enough time, even some downtime to kind of scroll Instagram for a little bit. And then your next client comes in, right? We're creating more space, so more white space in your day so that you can provide a really stellar experience and we're not treating clients like cash cows, right? Because they'll start to feel that too, especially if you're stressed and trying to rush them out the door and just charge. So if the goal is to maintain roughly about the same price point that we're doing, so, on average, looking at it at $400 a day, but I don't want to take 8 clients. Maybe I only want to take 7 clients. Well, take that same $400 and divide it by 7 clients. Well, now it looks like I need to charge on average about $57.14 per client, but we'll just round up and say, if I raise my prices to $60, I could take 1 less client in a day and still make the same amount of money. But Tara, if I raise my prices, they won't come back. Really? You seem to be in so much demand that we're okay with some not coming back. In fact, we are intentionally trying to create more time and more freedom. And so we can account for loss of clients in a price increase. Because here's something I want you to say over and 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 again to yourself. And you guys, if you've been listening for any period of time, you've heard me say this before. Demand dictates price. Not the imaginary number that you created how many ever months ago that you started your business. Demand dictates price. So if there is enough demand for your services where you are back to back appointments, or even if you are taking maybe you only want to work 2 days a week and take 3 appointments a day, well, then you're fully booked at 6 clients a week. Anything above that, you have an increase in demand and a lack of time. When there is a lack of time because there is an increase in demand, your time is worth more. Basic economics, right? Supply and demand. Supply of your time is in short statute if you can't even say hello, take a sip of water, goodbye to your clients, right? So therefore your time is worth more and you should be charging accordingly. So you can do the math, you can figure out how much it is you want to make and how many clients a day and at what price point that you need to be at in order to maintain your current money revenue and get your time back. It's math. That's all it is. It's math. It has nothing to do with your feelings about things. It's simple math. And if you have a belief that if I raise my price $10 so that I can take 1 less client a day or 5 less clients in a week and still make the same amount of money, well, maybe we're not running a business. Maybe we're just trying to run a place where people pay us and we can be friends with them. And that's kind of a codependent business model that doesn't necessarily work in your best interest. So we should be able to raise our prices. Most of you at that level of demand where you don't even have time to pee and like stretch, you need to get more time back. We run into this with our mastermind members who are just about to hire their first team member, is that they're usually fully booked lash artists. They have a level of success by themselves. And now they're trying to figure out, how do I get more of my time back so that I can train and onboard someone properly so that it is a wise investment and a growth strategy for the business long-term, but I am back-to-back clients because I'm so fully booked. That is one of the first things that we tackle for those that are in that place that haven't started to scale their business, is they need to actually pull back on the amount of time they spend in the treatment room in order to be able to take that time to then train a revenue producing asset by way of a team member. And so sometimes that means price increases, but when you're getting ready to hire on a team member, you don't necessarily want to do a whole lot with your price because you actually want people to go pay the new team member that money. So it really does become this moment where there's this tension of pulling back. It's almost like a slingshot. You're pulling back to launch forward. So you could, at that level where they have enough demand, pull back on your hours. Yes, take less clients. Yes, maybe take a drop in sales for 1 month, but that's going to help you launch forward because now you have the time to be able to pour into somebody else, train them to do it the way that you do it. And now there's 2 of you who can make money. And then you copy and paste that again. And now there's another revenue producing machine that you are now no longer continuing to trade your time for money. Your time is spent training and growing and marketing for the new team members. So again, it really is this navigation of how do I utilize the resources in the business? And when you're a solo Lashpreneur, you have time and money as your resources. How do I manipulate these to my advantage to get to my desired goals? And getting clear on what your goals are and prioritizing the action steps or the tasks in the business that are going to help you work towards your goals and get to your goals better, faster, easier, quicker, whatever. That is usually the piece that it takes people a really, really long time to figure out. And I still struggle with this too. So getting clear on your goals. If your goal, like in this example that I just shared, is to keep the same amount of money coming in, but to be able to increase your client experience and be able to have more time in your day to be able to go to the bathroom and drink some water and have some downtime. Well, then we have a sales goal that we want to keep, but time is the factor that we can play with. And price point is another factor we can play with as long as sales amount stays the same. The sales amount is the goal. Then we can start to work backwards to see which strategy of pulling back on time or increasing prices or a combination of the two is going to get us to our goal better, faster, quicker, easier. For some of you, if it's building out a team, well, the goal is for me to have enough time to be able to train a team member starting 10 hours a week. I need to find a way to have 10 hours a week. So when I hire somebody, I have 10 hours a week to devote to them and she can shadow me or train the rest of the days, independently. Okay. So maybe I have to pull back 2 hours a week for the next 2 weeks. And then I'm going to pull back and block off my schedule for 4 hours in a week, the 2 weeks after that. And then after that, I'm going to go dive in and I'm going to block off 10 hours consistently from there on. I'm going to start working on hiring somebody now so that by the time my 10 hours opens up, boom, I have it available and ready to train her. So she is going to come in on those 10 hours. I already know her schedule, right? So again, it's looking at what is the goal and what are the different ways I can get to the goal. But without clarity on the goal first, you're going to think, well, I need to raise my prices. Well, why? Why do I need to raise my prices? What benefit is that? I need to hire somebody. I need a warm body in here because I have so much demand. Really? Do you? Do you want to tell grown adults to get off their phone? Okay, that's up to you. That's not the only thing that you do. But without clarity on what the goal is, if you want to work less and make more, I can tell you building out a team is not the way to do that, at least not anytime soon. Yes, you can start to get your time back over time, but it may take you months, if not years, to get to the point when you have a team built out that you can start to pull back and get some time freedom back where the business will run without you having to oversee it, without you having to be an active participant in the day-to-day operations. So again, it really is what is the goal? And then what are the action steps that are going to get me there? So many of you are unnecessarily busy. A lot of you take hours and hours to make like 2 reels or 2 social media posts. Is that an effective use of your time? Again, if you're looking at you being able to maximize the time that you have, and time is a finite resource, if it takes me more than, let's just give an example, 30 minutes to make a reel, is that a wise use of my time? Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. So if I'm taking, again, if we're looking at your rate is $50 an hour that you could charge for a client to come in and get a service. Well, if it takes you 30 minutes to do a reel, your time, let's call it $25 for that 30 minutes that you could be doing in sales. So if you do 1 reel and you get 1 new client and you get a new client at $150 for a full set, and it took you, essentially it cost you half an hour, which we equate to $25 in sales, that's a good ROI, right? You could have been doing $25 in sales for that 30 minutes if you were taking a client, but instead you were doing marketing. So therefore you got $150 in because you got a new client. That's a good ROI, right? It cost us $25. We made $150. That's one way, that a very simplified way that you could look at it. When you're thinking about, what were some of the other things she mentioned? Getting back to potential and current clients during the day. I feel like my entire focus when I'm in the chair is in the chair and there's no time for anything else. Then block out time to work on your business and not just in it. And that is the biggest takeaway from this, is that, again, you're in control of your time. Block it out. I'm very much a person, when I became a business owner, I had to rely on a calendar and block out times on my calendar. Otherwise it wouldn't get done. And people who know me personally and my team, if it's not on my calendar, it does not happen. I have way too much to keep track of between kids and schools and activities and my own stuff and things that need to get done for the business. And there's way too much going on for me to keep track of. So I have to be intentional about blocking out time to do the things in the business that only I should be doing or could be doing. And some of that is also working with my team, right? And so to start, block out 1 hour a week. Just start with one. If you're not doing this regularly, block out 1 hour a week to work on the business and not just in it. Here's what ends up happening, just kind of big picture, pulling back, looking at this from bird's eye view. If you do not prioritize working on your business, you will not have a business in about a year to a year and a half. Why? Because you're so busy with the current demand. And you probably have seen those people who say like no longer accepting new clients. You are stunting the growth of your business. We are heading into a recession if we're not already there, which means that there's inflation also involved in that. So for you to be maintaining what your current lifestyle is, a year from now, you will have to earn at least 9% more than you're earning now to maintain what you currently have, right? So if you are not working on the growth of your business and understanding how to grow your business and learning how to find, optimizing your business, making sure that it flows better, making sure that you're developing the systems and processes that create stability in your business and growing it, then each year, because of inflation, you're actually making less and less, even though the dollar amount is the same. Your purchasing power, your ability to be able to buy the same things that you're buying now is getting less and less and less. So you as the business owner need to be staying on top of learning how to grow your business, learning how to pivot when an algorithm shifts to all reels or all short form content. You need to learn how to utilize these things. You need to learn how to run paid ads, maybe. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, you need to be able to learn how to run your business and in a way that's efficient and heading you towards your goals. You spending all your time like scrolling through Instagram and like trying to create 3 reels and it takes you all day is not a good use of your time, right? There's a lot of things that I did that I don't want to even admit to that I did in my business when I was very early on that were just busy work. It never saw the light of day. I used to write blogs all the time for my brick and mortar business. And I don't think anybody ever read them, but they took me. I mean, I was so proud of those things, but I never talked about them. I never promoted them. I never had people I never told people there was a blog. I never sent traffic to those blog pages, but I did a lot of writing, right? It was good stuff to read, just nobody was reading it. So there's a lot of different things that you're probably doing in your business that you don't necessarily need to do, right? If you're so busy right now that you can't take a sip of water, I honestly, I don't know that I would prioritize getting back to potential clients because where are you going to put them, right? I'm not saying stop marketing your business, but what you have is a time issue. And until you get the time issue fixed, trying to get new clients in, where are you going to put them? You have nowhere to put them. So spending time and energy on responding back to potential clients just to say, I don't have anything available may not be the best use of your time in this moment. Let that DM sit in there while you go figure out how to create more time so that you can get that client in, so that you can have those conversations, so that you can be intentional about the customer experience that you present from the second they DM you all the way through them walking out the door of their first appointment, right? But without the time and intention behind that, you're in survival mode. You're just a workhorse and you're treating your clients as such as well, right? You can't even say hello to them. You can't even say, see you later. So to sum up, what we talked about, the mindset of you are not the victim of your time. You are the one that is actually in control of where your time energy is focused. You are also the one that's in control of where your financial resources are placed. You got to figure out what your goals are and prioritize the action steps that are going to get you closer to your goal and forget about the rest or put it, aside for now, because there are very specific actions that you're likely got on your to-do list that if you took those, it would solve a lot of the other little issues that are popping up. And you got to let go of pleasing and serving everybody else at your own detriment. Create a business that you love and not one that everybody else loves, but that you resent. Prioritize making sure that you have a business that you're excited about, that doesn't burn you out, that challenges you to want to get better, to evolve, to grow, and make time to work on the business, not just in it. All right, guys, if you've got questions about running a business that I can help you with, send me a DM. Let's talk about it. Instagram, Lashpreneur. Let's connect there. Shoot me a DM. Let me know what's going on with your business. And let me know if this episode helps. All right, we'll talk soon. Have a good one.